Hello and welcome to CONMEBOL Qualifiers for the World Cup. Still far away, but in South America they are starting to play the qualifiers, and we have Leo Bachanian with us with the Argentinian t-shirt. But I'm missing something here, Leo. What is going on? What is missing?
Edu, hello. What a great to see. What a great time to see you again. Yes, I would need to draw, I believe, the first star. How to do it? How to do it soon. But I'm still all over the moon, you know. I still didn't quite understand what happened back in December in Qatar yet.
Well, it's going to be the first official game for Argentina in home soil, playing against Ecuador, but we are going to come in a bit to analyze the 5 games, the new format, very important because we have 2 match days in this international break with plenty to talk about right now. So guys, remember to leave your comments in this video, press the like, and of course, subscribe to see all our videos. And now let's go on with the show. And remember also that you can get an exclusive offer with 1xBet thanks to Oddspedia. Just follow the link below. Also type our Oddspedia promo code in YouTube, and you can have up to 130% of welcome bonus. Leo, I was mentioning in the intro that this is a special format because it's going to be very difficult to get out of the World Cup in Mexico, US, and Canada. Remember, we have more South American teams going to that World Cup.
Exactly, Edu, yes, because now we're going to have 6 spots for the national teams. We're going to go straight to Mexico, Canada, and the US, plus 1 playoff. So it could be 7 out of 10 national teams from the CONMEBOL going into the next World Cup. So maybe by 2030, we're going to have the 10 of them already. They wouldn't even need to qualify.
I wouldn't be surprised. Money is money. And we saw big names like Colombia, like Chile, like Peru or Paraguay staying out of the last World Cup. So it's time to see if they start to grab points to go to the World Cup in the same continent in Mexico, US, and Canada. Leo, the first game we have to analyze is Paraguay. Peru, very interesting one. This one with Paraguay coming here as a favorite, but I want to focus on Peru because this is the start of a new era. Gareca is gone after they lost that playoff against Australia, missing the World Cup. Both teams actually missed the World Cup. So it's a new Peru. In Paraguay, we still have Guillermo Barros Esqueloto as the manager, and they had a problem in the previous World Cup, and it was scoring. They failed to score in 3 out of the last 4 home games in the World Cup qualifiers to Qatar.
Yeah, look, Edu, it's not only Peru who's going to have a new face in the bench as the manager. Actually, if you take out Scaloni, then the only other coach who has taken charge of his team in a competitive match is Paraguay's Guillermo Barros Esqueloto. Then you have, of course, other extreme examples like Brazil and Uruguay, because Brazil interim manager Fernando Diniz will be meeting his squad for the first time this week, as will Uruguay's Marcelo Bielsa, who used his debut friendlies in June to have a look at fringe players. But with the main squad, he's going to have the first few days of training just now, this week. So that's the situation in South America now, with many teams with the new coach. It's true what you mentioned about Paraguay and the previous qualifying campaign. They haven't been in a World Cup, Edu, Paraguay, since 2010. Remember, they've been 1998, 2002, 2006, 2010, but since then, nothing came their way in terms of like World Cup games. But this said, now, Edu, the expectation in Paraguay, to be honest, is big because they have a crop of young players who are catching the eye, a mixture of young and experienced players this time around. You know, there are like players emerging like Julio Enciso and Diego Gomez, and others like Miguel Almirón, who are well known to for their quality. Although there is something strange with Almiron, because we all know that in Newcastle he's always been played on the right. He scored actually 11 goals playing from there last season, but in the national team has mostly been used on the left, especially during the Eduardo Berizzo's era, and also during some games with Guillermo Barros Schelotto. But then in defense, anyway, you have like Gustavo Gomez, who continues to be, in my opinion, the best center back in South America, leading Palmeiras for many, many years. I think the most important thing they have in Paraguay is that they have a new illusion to qualify for a World Cup, and it's the biggest in many years. And I will say that the testament to this is that the tickets for these qualifiers were sold in few hours. And then when it comes to this generation of new players, yes, I mentioned Enciso. It's a shame he's gonna miss this game. He's injured, the Brighton player. But Diego Gomez, Edu, I believe is gonna catch the eye of many. Diego Gomez, Inter Miami's players. He plays alongside relatively well-known guys like Alba, Busquets, and Messi. He played from the start on the weekend against Los Angeles. I watched the game and he did quite well. He's a very well-rounded midfielder. He's only 20 years of age. He came through the ranks in Libertad, with whom he lifted 2 Paraguayan titles. So I think there are like many people trying to see if he can replicate his club form with Libertad, now with Inter in the national team. I'm surprised that Guillermo Barros Schelotto, because you mentioned about the firepower, the lack of firepower in Paraguay, he didn't call Adam Barreiro. Adam Barreiro is a goal scorer in San Lorenzo in Argentina, but however did not get the call from Guillermo Barros Schelotto. The only pure number 9 he called is Avalos. Gustavo Avalos, the player from Argentina Juniors. The last time they played with Peru at home, they drew 2-2. There is also a very odd 3-3 in the Copa America 2021. But the last 2 times they play, I believe they got closer to what I would expect with these teams in terms of not having a goal feast, because it was a 2-0 and a 1-0 the last times they played, both in favor of Peru. Can't see this time many goals, and I believe goals under market could be something that we should be looking at. Peru, Edu, has played 4 friendlies in 2023. The most important one was that one against Germany, which ended in a 2-0 defeat. But then they show a 0-0 with Morocco, and the last presentation was a heavy defeat. Yes, yes, heavy defeat, 4-1 against Japan. You mentioned Tigre Gareca is there no more. He was replaced by Juan Reynoso. There are no big names in Peru today, to the point where the star of Reynoso's rooster, at least this time for the first 2 games qualifiers, is Josimar Shotun, and that tells you quite a lot. So with all this, I will be looking at the following, Edu. As I said, goals under market, in this case, goals under 2.5, which comes with odds of 1.70, and also a clean sheet for Paraguay at 2.50. And anyone fancying a double chance for Peru, does not come with very bad odds. Actually, it's at 1.88.
Indeed, but difficult to be optimistic, as you said, with Peru, but the odds are very high. They come as the underdog for this game. Gareca in charge from 2015 to 2022, so it's a long spell. This is a new era for Peru. 2 teams that missed the last World Cup, Paraguay and Peru. Colombia and Venezuela is our next game. They are neighbors, and they also missed the World Cup. Both of them, Colombia, new era as well, with Néstor Lorenzo as the manager. They have a great squad, big names like Luis Diaz. We see again James Rodriguez or Cuadrado, big names. We are going to miss Radamel Falcao, and Venezuela, Leo. They lost all the games away in the previous road to Qatar.
Yes, and every time we mention Venezuela, at least at the start of a qualifying campaign, we have to say the only one in CONMEBOL that never qualified for a senior World Cup. someone we can believe that if they cannot qualify now, that we have almost 7 spots when it's gonna be that chance. Yes, Néstor Lorenzo, the new coach in Colombia, in Venezuela, another Argentinian, Fernando el Bocha Batista. Lorenzo, in his preparation process, called Edu 58 players, of which at least 46 got at least a minute on the pitch. Another 29 were called in kind of microcycles with footballers who played in the national league. Of course, for these qualifier matches, he had to trim a little bit the list, and we find in this list that players who haven't been called before, like the striker John Cordova, who plays in Russia for Krasnodar, Richard Rios, the Palmeiras midfielder, a good one, and Santiago Arias, a fullback who with extensive experience in the national team, but he haven't played for the national team since 2020. Then in goal, we won't have David Ospina, who couldn't be called up again because of injury. Everything indicates that the goalkeeper will be Camilo Vargas, the one getting the number 1 jersey. The defense is showing as well some names who will become, I believe, the generational change that slowly will be occurring in Colombia. For example, with John Lucumí, the right center back, who is the player with the most minutes in the Lorenzo era. Alongside him, we might be able to see Carlos Cuesta, who play club football alongside the Lucumí in Genk, or Jerry Mina and Davinson Sanchez, 2 of those who are still there for a very long time, but none of them are having a very good time at the moment. The big question, Edu, is still this: will James Rodriguez play? In the last games, Lorenzo had not been able to count with James.
How is he doing in Sao Paulo?
Well, that's the thing. He couldn't count with him because he didn't have a team by the time Lorenzo was the coach. Now, yes, well said. He's playing in Sao Paulo. He didn't have yet many minutes, neither in the Copa Sudamericana, which they were anyway kicked out last time around, and in the Brasileirao. So for me, it's a question mark still, James Rodriguez. But Lorenzo knows him very, very well, because let's not forget that Néstor Lorenzo is not new for Colombia. Yes, it's the first time for him being the main man, but he was alongside Peckerman. He was his assistant all those years with José Néstor Peckerman as the manager of Colombia. And if there was someone who Peckerman loved, that was James Rodriguez. But then we're going to have a team which is going to count with Cuadrado, with Lerma and Mateus Uribe together in midfield. That was the midfield that Lorenzo used against Germany in a very good win, 2-0 this summer. So taking into account that anyway, okay, they're going to be facing Venezuela, who maybe require less disruptive players with less defensive responsibility, maybe that could open the door for James, who has a good memory of last time playing against Venezuela, because he scored the only goal for Colombia when they beat Venezuela 1-0, although that was away in the last qualifier. Another number 10 who might fancy a chance is Juanfer Quintero. He's also coming from a period of not playing, but he's playing now a little bit more regularly with Brazil in Argentina. He scored 2 goals in the last 3 games. But in the other hand, the Minotinto will arrive with their most experienced players like Tomás Rincón, Roberto Rosales, Salomón Rondón, Joseph Martinez, now playing with Messi as well in Miami, Jefferson Soteldo, Jankel Herrera, and Jordan Osorio. We can't take much of their last friendlies. They played against Guatemala, Honduras, Uzbekistan, and Saudi Arabia. The last time they played each other in Colombia, that was a win for the Cafeteros, 3-0, and the goal scorers on the time were Luis Muriel and Davinson Zapata, who are now far away from making a return to the national side. Clear favorites here, Edu, Colombia. That's what I think. I will be looking at goals in this encounter. I will look at Colombia to win first half with odds of 1.92, and also Asian handicap minus 1.5 for Colombia, odds of 2.23.
Well, Muriel and Zapata is still playing for Atalanta in a great level, so it would be a good addition to Colombia. Difficult test for Venezuela, Venezuela and Bolivia, the two national teams probably with less probabilities to go to this World Cup. Let's talk about the current world champion Argentina. They already had their party, their feast in home soil, playing a friendly game, but this is an official one against a tough team. Actually, Ecuador, we saw them being very competitive in Qatar, drawing, for instance, against the Netherlands, having good names, doing great in the Premier League, like Estupiñán, like Caicedo. And Argentina, Leo, also 4 new faces for them. And I want to highlight the striker of Inter scoring so many goals later. And when Lautaro is on fire, if you are looking for an individual market, could be a great option.
Yes, yes, absolutely. What Lautaro is doing right now in Inter is very good. He's coming at the back of a World Cup in which he couldn't have the impact we thought he was going to have. He arrived to the World Cup injured in his ankle. Then Julian Alvarez grabbed his opportunity and he didn't let it go all the way to the final. And fair play to Julian, because at the World Cup he's done great, and he had a very good first season, I believe, with Manchester City, and now he's still scoring. At least when City plays at home, you will see Julian scoring. When they play away, maybe that's a different matter for him. But Lautaro, as said, no, coming at the back of a World Cup, a bit disappointing for him, even though, of course, he lifted the trophy. He decided that he didn't want to take part in the last 2 friendlies in June. They talked with Scaloni. They agreed that what he needed was to have surgery, recover, have a good preseason, and start this 2023-2024 in the best shape possible. And in the end, it paid off. He started absolutely amazing with Inter. I guess you've been speaking with Dani Fisichella when you do the Serie A shows with him. 5 goals in the first 3 games, being the captain of the team. So to be honest, nothing could be better at the moment for him. Then you have as well, in terms of like leadership, for example, other players in Argentina who, like Cristian Romero, another who has been given leadership role in his team. In Tottenham, he's now the vice captain of the team, and also scoring 2 goals in 4 games for Tottenham now in the Premier League. Otamendi, also the captain in Benfica. Enzo Fernandez, within the nightmare that is Chelsea at the moment, he is doing relatively okay. Nahuel Molina, Edu, I think, is definitely showing the qualities we could see on him in Udinese. He started again very well for Atletico. Alexis McAllister got a move to a massive club like Liverpool. The only downside, I would say, is Lisandro Martinez's injury on Sunday against Arsenal. He's still a doubt for this match against Ecuador. We will see if, now having won the World Cup, we will continue to see an Argentinian side that, if opens the score, then plays down a notch or not. There are new faces too in the team, like Garnacho and Buonanotte, the Brighton player. Actually, we're going to see Enzo facing Moises Caicedo and Pervis Estupiñán facing Buonanotte in this encounter of friends and rivals of Chelsea and Brighton. In the list of Sanchez Vaz, the Spanish manager of Ecuador, there is only one number 9, but that one stands out. That is Ener Valencia. The Porto Alegre striker is having a great moment, at least in the Copa Libertadores with Inter. The controversy in Ecuador is that Sanchez Vaz did not call Miguel Parrales, the Guayaquil striker, who is the top scorer in the National League, but he gave instead an opportunity to Kevin Rodriguez, who did not play much this season. Rodriguez is the player that Alfaro took to the World Cup when he was playing in second division, and he was not very well known before the World Cup, and now he gets a call again when there is another striker who's doing better than him. So a little bit of controversy in Ecuador. Last time in Argentina, Albiceleste won 1-0, and I think, Edu, Argentina to win 2-0 could be a likely scenario. Again, this time for a team, let's remember, that only received 8 goals on the road to Qatar. The odds for a win 2-0 to Argentina are 1.95. And another scenario which was also put forward by Scaloni when he said that having more younger players in the squad brings the possibility of a livelier second half for Argentina. Well, a second half win for Argentina has a 1.65 odds.
Well, there are two games that we have to pay attention, I think, in this first match day. One is this one, Argentina-Ecuador. Of course, the world champions playing again at home against a tough team like Ecuador. By the way, the next game is Ecuador-Uruguay. They are coming back to the height of Quito, but we will talk about it in the next week. And the other very interesting game is the Uruguay-Chile, in my opinion, because we have Professor Bielsa arriving to Uruguay, already standing out, giving lessons in his press conference. And he has their debut against Chile without Forlan, without Cavani. He's been asked a lot about these two experienced players. And I want to know also your opinion about Chile, Leo, because I see the roster still with Arturo Vidal, Alexis Sanchez, but with not many big names. And I'm not sure if this could be, again, a team risking going to another World Cup.
To be honest, at least by the time we speak, Edu, my answer would be yes. I mean, there's nothing guaranteed for Chile, who, of course, they miss out on Qatar, and now they're facing the truth of this generational change, because even though Arturo is still there, he's not the same that he used to be. He's now playing with the Atlético Paranaense. His spell in Flamengo wasn't good. Alexis now is true, yes, returned back to Serie A after his spell in Olympique de Marseille, and he always gives everything for the national team, but the time is passing for everyone, and I cannot see the peers coming behind who could be at the level of that golden generation for Chile. In the Uruguayan case, it's the other way around. I mean, the generational changes, we believe, is going to pay dividends in this case for Marcelo Bielsa. I don't understand why all the questions were again related to Cavani and Luis Suarez, when after the World Cup, I believe, if we all thought that was the end for Cavani, for Lucho Suarez, for Godin. Well, actually, Godin, he stepped aside. But the problem, Bielsa, he's playing very well. Neither Suarez, neither Cavani mentioned publicly or privately that they didn't want to be called up, or they were resigning the national team. So there were two players who were available for Bielsa, but he believes they didn't deserve this time around the call. I believe the controversy is mostly because the press is telling Marcelo Bielsa, yes, but he didn't even talk to him. And Bielsa saying, why I need to talk to him? Players of this caliber, like Suarez or Cavani, are not expecting my call to tell them, listen, you're not gonna be called this time around. So I think Bielsa didn't get any of that. I think more than the absence of Cavani or Suarez, is more important that Uruguay will be without Ronald Araujo, Rodrigo Bentancur, Guillermo Varela, Georgian de Arrascaeta, Matias Vecino. All of them who are injured. There is surprises, which is the return of Nathan Hernandez, who in the end he resolved his judicial conflict with his ex-partner, because he had a case open in Uruguay, and the Uruguayan Federation decided for a long time that he was not going to be called until that judicial matter was solved. Well, that judicial matter is now resolved, and now he could be called, and Bielsa called him again, I believe, to play right back, because Araujo cannot play, and Guillermo Varela neither, as I mentioned. The last time Hernandez played for the national team, that was in 2021 in the 3-0 defeat against Bolivia in La Paz, who was actually the last game of Maestro Tavares in charge of La Celeste. But the expectations are huge, of course, with Bielsa in Uruguay, with that midfield of Valverde, Manuel Ugarte, Pelistri, with Darwin Nunez in attack, who told he called Suarez asking for the number 9, and Suarez said, he said yes, so it's all good. Darwin can use the number 9. Uruguay to win, Edu, here odds of 1.82, which are quite good, to be honest. Yeah,
I love it.
And in the friendlies that Uruguay played since the arrival of Bielsa, the best was shown in the second half. And Bielsa said yesterday that he wouldn't be surprised if that happens again, if the team gets his idea going into the second half. So Uruguay to win second half here, higher odds of 2.55.
And we haven't mentioned that Eduardo Toto Berizzo is the manager of Chile. Leo is not a manager that I rate very highly, and I'm not sure if he did well also for Paraguay.
No, absolutely. So you can see this rotation as well of managers going rounds in South America, especially Argentinian, who are all over the place in the national teams in the CONMEBOL. But I don't think so many are like having high hopes in Chile with Eduardo Berizzo as manager.
Bad times for La Roja. Let's see if they are able to start collecting some points so they are not missing the World Cup. Perhaps Venezuela, Chile, and Bolivia. They might be the weakest teams in this confederation. Bolivia traveling to Brazil. They are playing in Belém. These are the highest odds that we are going to see today. Leo, if you are brave enough, Bolivia to win in Brazil is 91. Is the highest. I was checking in Europe, and I think was San Marino to win away in Poland was something similar. We were mentioning in our video of the UEFA qualifiers, and I was checking the results of Bolivia away, and I wanted to do some trivia with you because I couldn't find a victory since I was checking before the 2000 away for Bolivia. So to be honest, I'm not sure about when was the last time they won outside of their country an official game in these CONMEBOL qualifiers. I don't know if you know it, Leo.
To be honest with you, Edu, I don't have it here. So because I guess I didn't want to scroll down that much when I needed to look for the last Bolivia
the last time I was checking the records, I couldn't find an away victory, and I had the records in until 2000. So imagine we can see why these odds are so low for Brazil to win. And I also want to know what to expect. No, I guess it's a big question mark about this Brazil with the interim manager Fernando Diniz. Let's see if Ancelotti is finally coming to manage Brazil for the World Cup. And we have some team news also with the Manchester United player lately.
Yes, to be honest, it's been a bit of a strange start for Diniz, who is, let's remember, Edu, he's still managing at the club level. He's the coach, the manager of Fluminense still. He's in the semifinals of Copa Libertadores, and he's doing both jobs, the Fluminense and the national team. This said, Fernando Diniz is a great manager. I believe he's gonna give a blueprint of to Brazil, which everyone's gonna enjoy. It's quite different to Tite, Fernando Diniz, and I'm actually very much looking forward to see Brazil managed by him. Yes, but again, I was saying he didn't start with the less of a controversy. The first one, when he gave the list, he said like, yes, I had to leave out Lucas Paquetá, the West Ham midfielder, because Paquetá is being investigated by the FA for possible or potential betting breaches in the UK. So he decided, the Confederation told Diniz, please do not call this player. And now, yesterday, we got to know that Anthony, yes, the Manchester United forward, has been withdrawn from the Brazil squad for following allegations of domestic violence from his former partner, Gabriela Cavallin, who alleges that she was subjected to a number of attacks by Anthony between 2022 and May this year. So difficult start for Menezes, who is also, Edu, without Vinicius. You will know he's injured. In his place, he called Rafinha. Anyway, Edu, the course, I mean, the talent at his disposal is still massive. Bruno Guimaraes, Neymar. Let's see how is Neymar. Mostly his physical condition after he moved from Paris to Saudi Arabia. But they got Martinelli in great form for Arsenal. He had a good game against United on Sunday. Rodrigo. We will see if this Brazil is still gonna get Ancelotti, and at the end of the road next, not at the end of the road of the qualifier, but by the end of the summer next year. And but they shouldn't have any troubles in leaving Bolivia behind. Yes, with the goal feast. My tips go in that direction. I will be looking at Asian handicap -3 for Brazil, odds of 1.56. And also, if you want higher odds, first half goals over 2, odds of 2.26.
I have the answer, Leo, to my question. Actually, when was when Bolivia won the last games away, and it was in 1993. On their way to the World Cup in USA. Actually, I remember that they played because they were in the same group as Spain or Germany, for instance, with a Spanish manager on the bench, Xavier Azcargorta. So this, we have to go back until 1993 to see Bolivia winning an away game in this CONMEBOL Qualifiers. So this is something that we can say in our shows when Bolivia or Venezuela are playing away. Do not trust them at all. Well, Leo, let's finish our video with a lot of input that we've had, a lot of information to place our bets. Among them all, which one is your favorite bet for these games?
Yes, my safe bet would be Brazil against Bolivia, first half goals over 1.25, odds of 1.46 for that one.
Actually, it's a good one. If Brazil score 2 goals, you win your bet. And your ACCA?
Yes, my ACCA I have. In Paraguay against Peru, goals under 2.5. That is odds of 1.70. Uruguay to win at 1.82. And Colombia to score first at 1.30. That leaves me with a total ACCA of 4.
Good one, Leo. Best of luck for everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we will be back with Leo Bachanian to analyze the second match day on this CONMEBOL. So stay tuned. On Monday, we will have a new video for the CONMEBOL. Thanks, Leo. Remember just to press the like and subscribe. Bye-bye.